So essentially, as a business, our main goal is to make our processes, or not just our processes of our clients that we work with as well, more accessible, equitable, and inclusive for anyone involved in the process overall. So what we've done is we've split that into 6 main goals for the year. So the first one is to understand the identity, background, and circumstance of anyone currently in our talent pools. So essentially, anyone we've placed and anyone we're putting through submitting to a role, to know about where we're succeeding and where we need to improve, which will really help us shape where we want to go from an ED&I point of view. Our second goal is to develop our own internal hiring process. What we want to do is make sure that the process is as fair as it possibly can be for candidates wanting to join our business. The third goal is to upskill and educate our client communities on best practices, because what we want to do is ensure that it's not only internally that we're improving, we want to make sure that we're making it a fairer process for our candidates that we're submitting to our clients as well. Number 4 is we want to ensure that our processes and our tech are fully accessible, to make sure that no one who's using our tech or is involved in any of our processes are left out for any reason at all. So to make that as inclusive, and accessible as it possibly can be. And number 5 is to commit to transparency around salary equality. Again, that's internally and externally with our clients. And then number 6 is internal development and training, to ensure that everyone within Reuben Sinclair and RS Engage is fully on board and fully up to speed with what we want to achieve and best practices in this space. So to make sure that our tech is fully accessible, what we've done so far in that space is we've made our websites fully accessible to anyone using it, whether that be candidates, clients, potential employees, whoever. So for anyone using our website that has any additional requirements, whether that be to make the text larger or smaller, the color, the contrast, it really helps make our site more accessible, more inclusive to those who want to use it and who need to use it, and therefore eliminates us excluding anyone unnecessarily from our process because of an unusable site. Secondly, we've now committed to internal education for everyone at Reuben Sinclair. So what that means is we've started a course with an external professional trainer in the ED&I space to ensure that everyone in the business is up to speed and knowledgeable in this area, that they can talk confidently to candidates and to clients on this space and advise accordingly, and to make sure as well that they're committed to what we're trying to achieve. The next one is adding accessibility statements to correspondence with candidates, with clients, to ensure that they know that if there's any requests they have to make the process more accessible for them, whether that be for interviews, for taking on the job itself, for interview tasks, then all they need to do is ask us, and we will do our absolute best to facilitate that. And that's to make sure that no one is excluded from any part of our process because of any additional needs they might have. Lastly, we are looking at redesigning our job adverts to make sure that they're free from bias and discrimination, to ensure that anyone reading it doesn't feel excluded in any way, and it's as open as it possibly can be to candidates. Those are just a small handful of what we're doing on a granular basis, but there's a lot more to come in that way to make sure that we hit our targets for 2023.